ika-9 na yugto. Patapos na naman po ang isang buwan. We are now on the second month of our 52-week project. And as I've shared with you all these weeks, we shall have a reading from the text taken from the New Testament, a letter of St. Paul to his young but very reliable apostle by the name of Timothy. Let's listen or read for ourselves the text of Scripture.
Do not rebuke an older man, but appeal to him as a father. Treat younger men as brothers, older women as mothers, and younger women as sisters with complete purity. Honor widows who are truly widows. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to perform their religious duty to their own family and to make recompense to their parents, for this is pleasing to God. The real widow who is all alone has set her hope on God and continues in supplications and prayers night and day. But the one who is self-indulgent is dead while she lives. Command this, so that they may be irreproachable. And whoever does not provide for relatives, and especially family members, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever.
Brothers and sisters, narinig niyo po how St. Paul trains his young delegated presbyters. Young, pero ang tawag sa kanila, elder. Elder, not so much kasi of age, but meron silang responsibility. Meron silang office to take care of the life of the Christians that were newly baptized or had to live in a different land where Paul cannot always meet them time and again. So this is Timothy. And let's look first how the letter shows us the relationship between Paul and Timothy. Si Timothy po, much younger than Paul. Di niya po kadugo, di niya kamag-anak. Pero look at the treatment, para siyang kapatid. Marahil siya yung kuya, pero ito'y kanyang kapatid. Hindi niya ito basta't alipin o servant. No. Timothy is a respected and we could say a reliable partner in the mission. Young administrator that he is, St. Paul places in his hands a community to make them grow in the faith. So because of this training through a letter, sabi niya, ikaw din sana, you have to treat your community in a way that is kind and loving. Pero ang kanyang sulat po, itinuon niya sa mga nakakatanda kay Timothy. Sabi niya, how do you somehow administer your community, especially those na nakakatanda sa'yo? By persuasion. Adult na sila eh. Hindi dapat silang pagsabihan. Rather, persuade them. Hikayatin sa Tagalog. Mahalaga po yan. We know that we have extended families in our homes. Wag po natin kahit minsan ulyanin na ang ating mga magulang, parang tatuhin natin parang bata. Tulungan natin ang ating nakakatanda to gain also their self-respect, self-esteem. Yan po ang sinabi ni St. Paul kay Timothy. Treat them through persuasion of how to live the Christian life, never by imposition. So saying, brothers and sisters, na ituon ngayon ni Paul about widows. Siyempre, ito'y napag-iwanan walang anak siguro na lalaki. O kaya, kung meron mang anak, nakita niyo naman sa letter niya, parang hindi yata tinatrato ng tama. So una, sabi ni St. Paul, yung mga widows ha, Timothy, pangalagaan mo maigi kasi kawawa naman sila. At pangalagaan mo like your own sisters or your own mothers. Pero may words din si St. Paul sa mga kamag-anak na kapag sila ay hindi maganda ang trato sa kanilang kamag-anak na mismo kadugo, pinagsabihan niya. At pinagsabihan din niya yung mga balo. Kung sila naman ay tatamad-tamad, wala naman silang kusa sa buhay nila. There are words like this in the text. Pero more importantly is the administrator, the elder, though young, Timothy, should learn how to treat these people. They are like what we would call margins in the society. Nasabi ko last week, no? Baka naman bumalik na sa atin o gayahin na natin yung nangyayari sa mga developed countries. Isinasantabi ang mga matatanda. You can see pictures now in this segment of how old people look staring on a glass window. What? Staring for what? For a visit that never comes, day after day. What kind of feelings na isang tabi ka? Ang mas masakit po, nasa bahay na mismo, hindi pinapakialaman, hindi kinakausap. May caregiver, may caregiver, pinapakain, pero parang pabigat. Brothers and sisters, kayo kaya, ako kaya, na tumatanda rin, anong feeling kaya na you are set aside? Because, wala, nakakalimot ka, natatapon ang pagkain sa bibig mo, madumihin ka ng konti, minsan mapanghiyata. Kung walang nang-aalaga, kawawa po ang matatanda. Part po yan ng pagpapamilya, brothers and sisters. Becoming a family is very important, including the extended, the lolos and the lolas of our children. Because of this, we have the daughters of St. Paul, daughters of charity that take care of them. They call them asilos, or Mother Teresa sisters, missionaries of charity. They have, we could say, facilities for this elderly. Pero sana po, kamukha ngayon, bilang lang ang naandon. Talaga naman siguro, napag-iwanan ng karamihan ng kamag-anak, o mga kamag-anak nasa abroad, o kaya mga kamag-anak, hindi na talaga kaya na kasi sobrang Alzheimer's na situation. To this day, the letter of St. Paul to Timothy has significance. Huwag sana natin mawala iyan. Kasi that is part of having a true Catholic family. If you want to say a true Catholic family, then you can just say that this is one way of showing the world we are actually grateful for our faith and showing our children how to treat the next generation.
I am Noemi. I would like to share with you my beautiful, enriching experience of taking care of my ailing parents long ago. My father died in 1990 at age 62. My mother 10 years ago at 79. I had a happy childhood. Dad was a perfect father and provider, and Mom an ideal and nurturing mother. Their marriage was the envy of many. They worked hard to provide us, 6 siblings, with a decent, comfortable, though simple life. I had been in the US 9 years when Dad was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal thyroid cancer. I immediately left went straight from airport to hospital, and stayed there for 3 months. At his deathbed, I promised Dad I would take care of Mom so he did not have to worry and could go in peace. I remained for 9 months to accompany Mom in her grief. Then I took her and a brother to the US. They soon returned home because Mom got homesick. 2 years later, Mom had a mild stroke. Again, I left for the Philippines, for good this time. Again, I dropped everything without hesitation: career, friends, financial security, and independence. I was being true to the promise I had made Dad, and I have never regretted those decisions to rejoin my parents. In time, Mom's condition deteriorated. Diabetes and hypertension, kidney and heart complications, dialysis 3 times a week, and eventually infection and sepsis. There were many, many visits to doctors, hospital confinements 2 to 4 times a year for 7 years. Like Virgie, I would prepare food and feed Mom myself so I could urge her to eat more, which hired caregivers had difficulty doing. I was also a reliever caregiver to ensure 24/7 care. I even learned peritoneal dialysis so we could do it at home, spare us from going to a hospital or clinic. Mom was moved to ICU, hooked up to life support systems for a month. Watching over a parent fighting for life again, it was double the previous pain, doubly devastating. Yet somehow I was more prepared this time, more accepting that illness and death are part of family life. For the one who is actually by the parent's sickbed, or at least living in the same household, there is untold sacrifice. Physical and emotional capacities pushed to the limit. Many times, near breaking point, I shed many a tear, like when they would get worse despite all medicines and treatments. Sometimes I would look out the hospital window and wish I were in a different world where my parents were well. When I saw whole families happily going around, I felt envious. Buti pa sila. But there were joys too. Spending much time with my patient, we relished happy memories, also of my childhood, and talked about my future plans. And thank God my parents were very good patients, masunurin at maalalahanin, already suffering, yet still concerned about the rigors of my caring for them. I'm so thankful they had sent me to a Catholic school. It helped me have a deep foundation in the faith. So in hardship, I turned to God more, trusted more. My friendship with God grew deeper and more real. I became kinder, more understanding and caring. I learned to offer my pains and sacrifices for the redemption of souls, especially within my family. My father died September 8th, the birthday of Mama Mary. Mom passed away on May 1, the feast of Saint Joseph the Worker, and also the first Saturday of the month. I believe these dates are God's way of assuring me that they are with Him, and my sacrifices indeed have redemptive value.
Ma, miss kita. February 2, 2020. A day etched deeply in my heart. The day Mama breathed her last to enter into new life. 2 days after hospital discharge. The day I saw her at her prettiest. Maybe how she looked in her prime. It was the feast of Our Lady of Candelaria, patroness of our parish. Mom was born 102 years ago on August 22, feast of the Queenship of Mary. She was under the special care of the Mother of God all her life. I oversaw the work of Mama's daytime caregiver and took over on her off days. The last caregiver was not staying in with us, so I took the night shift, changed diapers, tried to relieve her when she had a bad cough. I felt more pressured as Mama continued to weaken. On some days, I'd sleep only 2 to 3 hours. I took my meals quite irregularly. I was truly tested on 3 occasions when the caregiver went on leave for weeks each time. I did everything myself, except that my son or the driver carried Mama from bed to wheelchair or commode, then back to bed. Not for a moment did I complain. I only asked the Lord, if this is my mission, then help me fulfill it. Or, if He would take me, since I was exhausted and badly sleep deprived, to please take Mama and me at the same time, as no one else would be able to give her adequate care. I called to our Blessed Mother whenever I ran out of patience, especially when feeding time stretched to almost 2 hours each meal. But the Lord gave me all the help I needed, even to fulfill my commitment as Parish BEC Commission Head. I missed several occasions, but I made it to the critical meetings and events. If I would have a chance to relive our days together, I would bring Mama more often to the mall where she loved to go. I should have thought less of how difficult it would be. Sorry, Ma. But then again, I believe the Lord knows best. Now, I live the good memories, like celebrating her 100th birthday at Vikings. Ma, looking at our pictures of that day, as I lie on your bed, I hope that you felt my love then, and every time I cleaned you, gave you your bath, comforted and attended to you, especially when you had difficulty breathing. I miss you, Ma. You made me stronger in my faith in God, in my trust in Mama Mary, and in myself.
I am Tess. Mom has just turned 90. Her osteoarthritis gives her constant pain and makes movement difficult. Unlike Virgie and Noemi, my challenges have little to do with physical caregiving because she has a caregiver and my sister is in charge. The family was not aware that dementia had crept in on Mom. We thought it was just forgetfulness, normal aging. Still, I didn't realize she was also forgetting that she could no longer walk by herself and should press her buzzer for help or at least to pick up her cane. I thought she was just being proud or stubborn, refusing to accept her new limitations. So when she would stand up and start walking, I'd get irritated or angry, anxious she would fall. Until recently, my main challenge was dealing with her imaginings, confused memory, illusory or downright illogical thoughts, and dreams intermingled with reality. It's partly dementia and partly a side effect of medication for essential tremors common among the elderly. Before, I would try to correct her, to ground her back to reality. Now, it seems better for her if I just ride along. But it's very hard when she insists on something we're unable to comply, like to produce a supposedly missing personal belonging, gone since years and years ago, or when we ignore her repeated calls. She only dreamt calling us. Or turn off that other light over there. Or send that car away. Or why are we not feeding these babies? None of the above. We're in her room, and babies don't have quarantine passes to come over. Kind of cute sometimes, but at other times, how hard it is to negotiate between her mind and objective reality. I began blessing her at bedtime, aloud, so she would join me in asking God to give her restful sleep and to guard her so that nothing bad, but only what comes from God, would enter her mind and heart. This prayer gave her peace. How did I manage? Only by God's mercies, for sure. At first, I prayed for the obvious solution, to be a better daughter, more patient and compassionate. I asked Jesus, let me be your heart today to Mom. I celebrated little triumphs. I gave myself time and prayed to try again whenever I failed. But since I failed often, I was led to pray differently. I stopped worrying about solutions. That's God's department, not mine. Instead, I drew from the church's wonderful ministry of spiritual direction, where prayer is a real relationship between me and the God who is truly interested in me. I asked for nothing. I sat before Him just being me, helpless, weak, and flawed. I sensed God loving me anyway. No anger, no reproach, only acceptance and assurance that He is in charge. In prayer, I would stay on and on with that feeling of being loved. I came to understand that if I don't allow myself to receive the love that God gives me, I will have nothing to give Mom. I'm totally dependent on God, even in doing the good I want to do. I felt lighter. This told me that God was at work on the solutions. True enough, because ideas came to me without thinking, and I found myself doing things I have never done before. Simple things, but they worked, like new topics for small talk, stretching exercises, so easy yet soothing for Mom. In this COVID-19 era, FaceTime with our four-generation immediate family, we're 40 plus, including her 8 great-grandchildren. Finally, I was forced into social media, also masses, either live stream or replay, depending on her condition. All this means setting my work aside, to make her feel she's not left alone, to pass the long hours in between meals and the other basic necessities. I cannot take credit for this. My spiritual director once told me that to find myself doing things I could not do before something I had not done by myself, is a concrete experience of being graced. If I could change anything, I'd prepare by getting informed about aging. But that's past, and I fully embrace the spiritual journey that has so far led to this graced time. For sure, I'm still a work in progress. But who knew that in God's plan, Mom, at her weakest and most vulnerable, would be in top form living up to her name and make me feel she's truly that to me. Consolacion. In closing, caring for elderly parents is a very sacred space where we are invited to put our faith into action, hour by hour, and get to be abundantly graced in the process. It is true they are at the receiving end in their old age, but it's not one way. We three, Virgie, Noemi, and myself, agree that we have received more than we've given. Taking care of parents is an honor and a privilege, a grace and a blessing. For this, we are deeply grateful. In their suffering and in their awareness that their time is limited, we can make our parents feel loved, not just know it in their heads. We can express love in the many concrete ways, not just pay lip service to it. To stay with them as if doing nothing, yet doing everything. This is the big consolation we can give them, that they are not alone in battling old age. Our presence, our kindness, our love are what they need most now, and the best last gifts that we can give them. God is the real caregiver. Our work for our parents is only a share in His. He equips us accordingly, with winning ideas, with strength, and most of all with love that is patient and kind, and bears all things. As in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 says, winning the battle begins in our heart, and our weapon is prayer.
I would like to thank you for having stayed for 2 months, 9 weeks with us. The next 4 weeks, continue with the Catholic family kasi 13 weeks po ito, one season, ika nga. And what we have discussed is already what is husband and wife relationship, and the second is parental care and attitude of children to their parents, even now to their elderly grandparents or even in-laws. So, salamat po, at kung gusto nyo pong subaybayan ang ating pinag-uusapan dito, next week po, meron tayong bagong buwan. Ang ating tema po ay tungkol sa relationship ng isang buong pamilya sa kanyang simbahan, sa kanyang pananampalataya, sa kanyang parokya, at ganun din sa kanyang lipunan, sa kanyang neighborhood. Nakakatuwa po naman, natapos natin ang first part tungkol sa husband and wife celebrating Mother's Day. Ngayon po, kasa-celebrate din po natin ng Father's Day. And in a few weeks, baka 1 or 2 weeks from now, we will have Grandparents' Day. So, sakto po, ano? Nandyan po sa loob ng ating reflection ang ating ino-honor ng mga magulang at nakakatanda. Thank you. God bless you all.